Building business in long term, that is definitely something anyone can claim to be like that.
Everyone say I'm good. We are not just like, oh, we are cheaper, but that's short-term thinking.
Easy said than done, right?
Vietnam, it's a growing market compared to Japan or US or whatever market. It's so small. However, it's gonna grow year on year, multiple. We grow fast as markets grow, so it has to be long term. A lot of business is actually really short-term thinking. They just want to quickly grow, but after 5 years, almost they die.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Genesia Orbit, Ho Chi Minh City. So far, we have been consistently hosting a startup workshop every month. The inspiration for the workshop today comes from the founder CEO of Camerio, who shared with the word that's so stuck within our heart. Like he wants to build a business that lives longer than himself. The very key differentiator is to build a strong, sustainable organization. And we realized how important that aspect play for a startup in terms of the growth journey. So we decided to pick the topic for today. We're happy to welcome two special guests who are the exceptional leader who have been there, done that, and experienced, and have a lot of knowledge. That is the founder CEO of Camerio, who could be the very first guest of our fireside chat session today. Welcome the founder CEO Taku Tanaka from Camerio. Please join us for this fireside chat session.
My name is Taku. I'm from Japan. I lived in Vietnam for 10 years. Before I moved to Vietnam, after I graduated from university, I joined the investment bank. So I worked for investment bank for 3 years in Japan. And after that, I moved to Vietnam back in 2015. So the reason why I come to Vietnam is actually I joined their startup called Pizza for Peace. That time they have only one store. So they have now 40 stores in not only in Vietnam but also the 5 countries. So I joined For Peace to build the team, raise the capital to expand to Hanoi and Da Nang. During the 3 years, we expand to 10 stores. The reason why I joined Pizza for Peace is actually I want to open my own restaurant. So I want to learn. However, during my journey in the For Peace, I realized the purchasing and sourcing in Vietnam for F&B business is such a mess. When we had only one store in Le Tan Ton Street in Ho Chi Minh City, we had 100 suppliers for one store because each supplier are very small, based in the web market. And also sometimes they change the price without the notice, so they don't issue invoice, they don't deliver on time. A lot of issues, a lot of mess. So I decided to build a company which can be the one-stop platform where I can supply as much as possible what the restaurant needs as a one-stop, deliver on time. We deliver the right product, right time. So that's how I started the Camerio. But if I just buy from the big web market and deliver to store, it doesn't change so much different from the already based in the web market. So how we're gonna do it actually, we build a whole supply chain from upstream to downstream. So I found the vegetable sourcing is one of the biggest difficulty for Peace. So what I did is I set up the vegetable collection centers in Darat. They build a relationship with the farmer and land, and we buy directly from the farmer. We do have a cold truck to Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi, and we have a 3 temperature warehouse in Ho Chi Minh, Hanoi. And for the delivery also we do deliver by ourselves. So whole upstream to downstream process we control by ourselves. The most of the temperature has to be controlled by ourselves as well, so that we can be much better quality compared to what it is in the market. And now the government is trying to be more strict about legal. So a lot of people don't pay tax, but now government is changing the way to capture the more business correctly on the tax. So a lot of restaurants actually talking to us, hey, I need an invoice. So actually it's a good timing for us as well. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Taku. And actually, Cameo is one of our found portfolios in Vietnam. We have been following Cameo growth journey since 2019, early 2019. We started our investment in Cameo, and so far, our connection relationship has been last half a decade actually. And we're really honored to go together with Camilo and to build up a leading position in the food supply chain in Vietnam and beyond. I just shared earlier from the beginning of the workshop today that you have been a great inspiration for me to start the workshop today with the topic about building a sustainable organization. So I'm really curious to know why you have such kind of long-term commitment like that, and how is influence in your decision that you make as a leader at Camilo so far?
To be honest, I think our business has to be always long-term, especially in Vietnam, because if you do business in Vietnam, which means you bet on the market long-term, right? It's a growing market, but now compared to Japan or US or whatever market, it's so small. However, it's gonna grow year on year, multiple. And we grow fast as market grow, right? So it has to be long term, especially in Vietnam. But I see a lot of business is actually really short term thinking. So they just want to quickly grow, or maybe they want to take some money, but after 5 years, almost they die. So that's not successful in my definition. So I just want to make the business which is sustainably growing, not only the revenue, but also the margin and also the cash flow and discipline, legal.
Building business in long term, that is definitely something anyone can claim to be like that. And easy said than done, right? So how will you actually do it? And that kind of mindset, how is actually impact and influence in our decision making as a founder at Camilo? I believe it's really a real story behind the scene. We really want to learn more from you.
So I think to be long term, you have to be profitable at some point, right? But you cannot keep raising money. It's okay you don't make money in the beginning as a year plan, but at the end of the day, you have clear plan to be profitable. Otherwise, you're gonna die. We need to build a moat. Moat means what differentiates you from the other competitors, right? It has to be one-stop value, or it has to be brand equity, or a lot of maybe the size of your business. When we run the business, we always care about what moat we are building. We are not just like, oh, we are cheaper, you buy, right? Actually, a lot of businesses like that in Vietnam, but that's short-term thinking. And not only me thinking about it, it's not enough. So I need our management team, all the team members at the end of the day, has to think about what is our moat we are building.
That's really a very meaningful point you just mentioned. Could you please share a little bit more detail in terms of what exactly the moat you want to build in detail within Camilo so far you're trying to build for sustainable growing business in Vietnam?
One of the things we actually really want to do is we want to build a whole supply chain and a one-stop value for the customer. Because imagine one restaurant buy one SKU from us, they always talk about price. But for example, some of our customers, they buy 300, 400 SKU from us. They don't talk about price only. They need a one-stop value. We avoid price competition, but we increase the retention of a customer. Customer keep buying forever, right? So that's going to be the align with our long-term value. Another thing is the operation quality, right? So we deliver on time, we fulfill 100% what they orders, and we have a cold chain. So theoretically, we are much better quality compared to the customer. But technically, it's very difficult to tell the customer before they buy. Everyone says, I'm good. So what we do as tactic is we invite customer to our farm, to our warehouse. They immediately see, oh, you guys are different. Compared to the traditional way of purchasing, we are so different now, and we're going to keep investing to be much more different. Because I think if the US or Japan or whatever developed country is here, but if I invest like Japan 100%, it's too much. It's too expensive and maybe too early. One of the my strengths is actually I understand how the developed country is and how Vietnam is now. And I will decide where we're gonna position in the middle, right? But of course, the Vietnamese company getting improved step by step. That's good. So we're gonna need to be always ahead of what the other peers do in market.
Actually, I want to constantly share about one of the very unique points about taco. is that he knows so detail about everything. And he's a foreigner founder in Vietnam, but I know for sure that he knows every single wet market in Ho Chi Minh City and beyond Ho Chi Minh City much better than me. And normal Vietnamese here as well. Every day, previously, he also draw motorbike to go so detailed into the traditional wet market to find out the pricing point and also the product are selling as well for the market research purpose. You, from early days of Cameo, you started as very hands-on founder, know so detail with execution. And over time, when you scale up the organization, right, when the company keep growing, I'm just curious, right, your real experience, how you get here to who you are today from purist super hands-on founder. What does the transition phase look like?
Of course, when I started the company, I know everyone and I talk to everyone. But now, of course, I cannot talk to everyone. But I still be detailed. I directly manage about 6 people. Maybe I can manage up to 10 people, but more than that, I think it's tough. So right now, I manage 6 people directly, and those people are managing like 10 people each or something, and after another 10 people or something. So we have about, including operation, we have about 400 people now. Someone to manage the team it's not easy. My manager director to manage the whole each team, but still I need to be responsible at the end of the day. The most important decision is whether I let that person to keep managing the team or that person is not work. So I need to actually let that person go. I need to make sometime that decision, otherwise it will make so much mess more in the future.
I heard a lot of stories from so many startup founders out there that people management is always the headache. Every single day they face in terms of scaling organization. You just mentioned about in terms of currently you manage directly 6 members, middle manager behind you, and also I just want to know further in terms of your leadership, how you decide, delegate to who, and empower them to grow further, what kind of tasks to who, and make sure that the organization can constantly grow as well.
As a foreigner founder, I know I cannot do everything by myself. I know that my limitation, right? I cannot understand anything. So I need a strong team from the beginning. From my experience, we build a team, but we don't hire the director or manager from other company because we are building something new. Most of the people who work in a big corporation, it's very difficult to adapt to the startup like speed or how we do the business. Right now, we're more shifting to the educating the more younger talents to promote step by step to be the manager. Our CEO, he just joined as one of the head of the small team back in 3-4 years ago. And step by step, he promoted too. And now he's a CEO. And some other director managers too. I think our culture is maybe unique compared to a lot of big corporations. So we need to train, we need to educate a team. Not only about the skill, but mostly important is about core value. We are not perfect yet, but we try to do as many as detailed things. Like we have T-shirts with a core value. We have the stamp in a Slack that they can use for the daily conversation with a core value or many things.
Since you mentioned a lot in terms of how efforts you put into make sure that the core values adopt within the company, either via T-shirt or via stamp. So what exactly the core values you set down within the Cameo and how the evolution of that core values has been evolved over time so far?
It's very simple, it's just like integrity or teamwork or the Kaizen, which is a continuous improvement or something. Those are metrics to judge the salary review or the performance review. When we feedback to the team, we can say good teamwork, integrity, but I think I don't hear your Kaizen idea. We keep talking about core value that they will remember. And the word of the office, core value too. Even though the people are super smart or having a very good track record of a career, if they don't share core value, I think we cannot work together.
So a little bit related to that point, I would like to learn more from your perspective in terms of the governance. It's difficult in terms of limited time and resource. It's difficult to put a lot of intention into build up a governance system. So I'm curious to know, what is the first internal system and governance structure you have strategically, deliberately, and intentionally set in place at Cameo at early days?
One thing we do is, again, it's core value, because the integrity is one of our core value. So if you tell a lie, it's not good already, right? If you are fight with other people, it's already no integrity and teamwork. If they don't follow it, I think they should be out, right?
I believe that's very practical and simple to start for any founder to take reference to apply within your company, given you are in early stage.
Maybe for the few member or 10 to 20 people, you can talk to everyone, so it's okay. But once you have like 100, 200, 300 people, we should have core value to share with the team. Otherwise, we cannot work hard to the same direction together. Yeah.
You have been heritaging a lot of our core DNA from the Japanese-rooted startup business and in Vietnam as well. And speaking of Japanese people, we can easily imagine about discipline. I just would like to learn more from your experience in terms of discipline in leadership. We have been together with founder Taku of Cameo a half a decade. And one very outstanding point about Taku is very sharp. He always stays sharp. He has been working very hard as well. So I'm curious to know, in such an intensive work daily, how you maintain such a sharp, focused energy and clarity in mind.
Of course, we're people. Sometimes we have up down, to be honest, right? Sometimes there's a bad day. I might lose the motivation, to be honest, right? But one thing I think let me keep working hard, keep pursuing, is like we are proud of what we're building, and I'm proud of our team, right? Because if I give up, basically 400 people lose a job, right? And we supply to 4,000 business in Vietnam. They lose the supplier and they need to back to buy from small supplier in the web market, right? Being proud of what we do is, I think, most important. To be sharp and working hard. Today's theme is about long-term building. So you do what you like is the most important, I think. If you just pick the AI, because AI is now people talking about it, I mean, I think after 3 years or something, you lose the motivation because that's not what you like. To me, what I'm building is like what I like, and then actually I'm solving my own problem when I do the pizza for peace, right? So I understand the problem well, and I like what I do. And now we are proud of what we're building in our team.